welcome to Midland Squirrel Hunter. I'd just like to start off by saying a massive thank you to everybody that liked the last video we uploaded and subscribed to the channel. Really do appreciate that, as we're a new channel, yeah, and it all counts. So we'll jump straight in today. We're in a part of the woodland called the rookery. Some of you may be familiar with this from my Instagram page. I've done quite a lot of videos up here. So with this place, where do we start? It's had hell of a lot of hammer from squirrels, as you can see here from this fallen tree. This came down at the start of the year from bark stripping. I'll show you it in a minute. The size of it, you wouldn't think a grey squirrel could do that, but trust me, they can. The tree that the feeder's on, the feeder being just there, that tree, that's had quite a lot of bark stripping and whatnot on it, hence why we've got the feeder on that tree. So last year I took 98 squirrels from this patch alone. This year we're probably looking at around, say, the 50 mark. We did notice a decline in the grey squirrels in this part probably about 3 months ago, so the numbers started to really drop down. There were no visits to the feeder, that was staying full with the feed we was putting in there. And then lo and behold, about 3 weeks ago, we started to notice that the feed was going down, so we set trail cameras up and we have greys back in this area. So really active as well. We've been topping that feeder up for the last 2 weeks, maybe every other day. The same with the feeder that we've got just further down that Dan's on today. That's been getting some hammer as well. We had the same thing, it wasn't being used, no squirrels were visiting it. And then about 3 weeks ago again, same thing, load of activity. So it just shows that there is cause for what we do, and no matter how hard you hit them and you think, well, they're all gone, they find a way back. They're relentless. So yeah, you take big numbers, doesn't mean it's over. You've got to maintain, you've got to really keep on top of it. So even if you get to a point where you're getting zeros when you come out for a shoot, we like to just keep visiting for a good few months, because we know, we've seen this pattern before, they just keep coming and coming. So, and the longer you leave them, the worse it gets. So I'll give you a quick look at the feeder and the hide and some of the kit, and hopefully we'll get a few squirrels today. As I've just touched upon, this is part of a large branch that's been bark stripped by grey squirrels over a long period of time, don't get me wrong. Starting around this area, it's come from that branch there. Now this did fall and it was suspended in the tree maybe last year at some point, and this damage has gone on over a period of time, and obviously the tree just becomes rotten, the limb snaps, comes down. It got, like I say, got wedged in the tree there. It came down at the start of the year to where it is now, and as you can see, it snapped a load more trees back, and yeah, just causes quite a lot of damage, to be honest, to all the other habitat that's around here. So we have decided to actually leave that there, because usually we'd cut that up, log it up, but we've decided to leave it because it's got quite a lot of fungus growing on it, and it will create a habitat as well for wildlife, which we are trying to encourage in this area, but most of the time we would move it. So here's the feeder that we're on, same kind of style in the last video, different lid, because this is the first kind of lid we started out with, rigid plastic, but we're still in trial periods. When we first fitted it, we just had a basic hinge and we were getting soakage down the back into the feed, so now we've done that. But as you can see, we get a hell of a lot of gnawing going on this rubber, so it's not ideal. Bit of a drip detail there just to channel any water away. We're still on the same grain and peanut because we're still having issues with the supplier. He's really struggling to get hold of peanuts at the minute, but he does promise that there'll be some in by Wednesday, so that's that. Again, spinner. We try and put a spinner on every feeder just so we can check zero when we get here, and that's 27 yards out to the hide. Just a little tent, two-man hide. So I'll give you a show round in that as well and show you what kit I'm using today. Right, quick run over the kit that I'm going to be using today. So I've got the FX Impact Mark II limited edition, hence why it's gold. Really good rifle. I've had this about 2.5, 3 years. Never let me down. Good bit of kit. The silencer I've got on that is a Donny FL Tatsu. Unreal silencers. They're all I really use, to be honest. The scope, I've got a Hikmicro alpex T50. The clarity on this scope is brilliant. It's quite an older model for Hikmicro. I've had that about 2 years, but the day and night on it is brilliant. Dan's now got the 4K, and that's just a game changer. I've got the Sabre Tactical shoulder stock. For some reason I can't shoot this rifle without that now. Just got so used to it. This is 2.2 by the way. I've got the Sabre Tactical hot shoe to fit into the tripod as well. I'm going to be shooting from that, the JSB 1813 grains. Haymakers, they just put them straight to bed, to be honest. That's the only pellet that this rifle's ever shot, and yeah, it seems to really like them. So I'll show you the tripod. This is a camera tripod, just a cheap one really, but Joel can, so it does the job. It's got a ball joint, a mounting for the hot shoe, fully adjustable everywhere. You've got adjustment here for the height, adjustment to drop it down. The legs are fully adjustable with 4 stages. So yeah, it's a decent bit of kit for the price. It does the job. Then the most important piece of kit for me, this was a gift from Dan, so thanks again mate, really do appreciate that, is the Stanley flask. It's actually massive, but that's what I need. I drink a lot of tea. And we've got the shooting bag, Jack Pike. Can't go anywhere without that, even though I forget everything all the time. So that's the kit. I'm going to get set up in the hide and hopefully get a bit of footage, show you a couple of greys being dispatched. Well, I'm inside the hide now. Apologies for the picture being a bit grainy, it's just there's not much light in here. So we've got the feeder set out at 27 yards from the hide. As I said, gun set up, scopes on, so it's time now to get a cup of coffee and just play the waiting game. Hope that a few greys turn up. So I'm in the hide now, I'm set up, and I have just seen a squirrel making its way towards the feeder, so hopefully we can get some footage of this one. First one of the day. That's one down. Quite a fat little squirrel, to be honest. I've just been out to retrieve. Yeah, pretty big. So just sit quiet for a few more hours and hopefully get a few more visits, and I can get you guys a little bit more footage. So that's the second one down. Clean shot, that one. Happy with that. They seem to be coinciding with the times on the trail cameras, which is also a good thing. So fingers crossed we get a few more. So I've been here about an hour and a half. I've managed to bag 2 greys off the feeder, and I have just seen one on the back tree making its way towards the feeder, so I'm going to get set up for this shot and hopefully we can make it a hat trick. So that's the first part of the day out of the way. We're going to make our way down to the shed now, get a bit of food and just see if there's anything down there. So I've got the 3 squirrels that I've shot. I'm just going to show you quickly how to stinch them up with the game carriers that I make. So this is one of, if not the first game carrier that I made. As you can tell by the knots, they're not very good, but it still works. I just wouldn't be happy putting that out there, so I use it. Most efficient way I find of stinching a squirrel up really is over the back leg. You don't get no blood or anything on your hands because obviously the squirrel just took a headshot. So just put the noose over the back leg, stinch that up nice and tight. That's that. These will actually carry 6 squirrels, and I do make extension clips so you can carry more carriers. I've had up to 24 on one clip, so quite sturdy. Let's put this last one on. A little bit of rigor mortis setting on this one.
How chilled is it though, mate, with the rain? You're in here, you're just chilling. Got the rain odds machine on.
Well, we're going to call it a day. We've got about 40 minutes before the light draws in. Been down to the shed, had some food and a drink. Had a little sit down there for a bit, didn't really see anything. As you'll notice from the video, I've uploaded a kill of Dan's. So he's actually had 2 today, only managed to get footage of 1. Steve's had a squirrel as well today, so there's 6 in total. They're bagged up now, ready to go off to the owl keeper to feed his owls. Thank you very much for tuning in, and look forward to making another video soon.